Hey everyone, this is weather forecaster Liam here with live severe storm coverage on TRA Weather. And if you live anywhere in the central or eastern half of the United States, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be seeing some severe weather tonight, whether that be in the form of strong winds, some large hail, or an isolated tornado or two. But I'm not really seeing many tornadoes tonight. Not really a tornado outbreak, though I am seeing some pretty decent supercell development, especially across portions of the plains, like this cell right here. It's pretty decent right now. You can see some not just blues, but bright blues showing up on the radar here. And this is according to my radar software, 3.5 inch hail in diameter, though that's up in the sky, not quite reaching the ground at that size, though most likely golf ball size hail, maybe even larger with this. It's actually a storm report just a little while ago. This is in Parkins County, South Dakota. By the way, this is in the northwestern South Dakota area. In fact, I'll zoom out just a little bit so you can see. So you can see there's Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, and in the northwestern corner, we have this cell right here. So you see some bright blues, again, indication of some large hail. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings are so far with this. Let's take a look at one of them here. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued by the Rapid City National Weather Service for Z Beach County in west central South Dakota, northeastern Meade County in west central South Dakota, and southeastern Parkins County. That's where that report was, in northwestern South Dakota until 5:15 p.m. Mountain time there. And again, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. This was 3 miles south by southeast of Surham, and again in Parkins County, South Dakota. And this is moving at a pretty good pace of about 45 miles per hour. So if you live anywhere within the region of this cell, make sure to take cover. It's got some, again, golf ball size hail, possibly even larger than that, associated with that cell. Multiple other cells all across not just this region but the United States have some more severe weather for portions of the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, northeastern United States, and pretty much north central, central, and south central United States. Just a lot of areas dealing with severe weather today. So going to look over this portion of the United States first, the plains, and we're going to make our way slowly eastward. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning also in effect for very southeastern Wyoming and northeastern Colorado. Apparently half-inch size hail with this. This is via train spotter. This is just north of Biddle County in Wyoming. So that's moving southeast. They'll eventually get to the Spearfish area and also, I would say, the Gila area in northeastern Colorado. So make sure you keep an eye on that cell. Now, as we go a little further north into the Bismarck area, there's some more persistent rain, though not really severe weather per se. But you get some pretty good downpours once you start getting into the south central North Dakota region. Though once you start getting really far to the north, just some lighter rain showers, nothing too severe. And I think that'll be the case through most of this evening and overnight tonight. So let's go a little further to the south now into Nebraska, where we have another severe thunderstorm warning for the northwestern portion in Nebraska. Apparently an inch and a half size hail in the Sheridan County, Nebraska area, estimated between 1 and an inch and a half hail, along with 30 to 35 mile per hour winds. And then this is moving east. Let me turn off that. This is moving east by southeast at around 45 miles per hour. So these storms are definitely going to be moving pretty fast tonight. So if you are in that severe thunderstorm warning or slightly outside of that severe thunderstorm warning, make sure to take cover. And by the way, we have, again, a lot of severe weather tonight. Currently 23 severe thunderstorm warnings right now, 6 flash flood warnings, and 1 special marine warning, which is basically just a severe thunderstorm warning, but over a lake or an ocean. So I have some isolated cells over here, not too severe, though there is a line of showers developing in the eastern Colorado area. Severe thunderstorm warning issued for that region near the Ray, let me get over there, the St. Francis area. If you live in there, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. There's actually a previous report of 58 mile per hour wind gust in Logan County, Colorado. And some more severe thunderstorms down here with another warning. This was 60 miles per hour near the Cheney County, Colorado area. So these storms are all going to develop along this line, make their way eastward. And also, they'll extend right around to the northern Texas region. I'm not really seeing like Fort Worth or Dallas getting any severe weather tonight, possibly some lighter rain, though again, it's not going to be much of an impact. Though northern Texas, as you see right now, very active right now. Some reports of an inch size hail, bright color shown on this map, as well as those bright blue colors showing up. Have a report of 1 inch size hail near right in the Texas Panhandle here. And there's also associated with a severe thunderstorm warning that extends into portions of northwestern Oklahoma near the Arnett and Woodward area. I think that's where that is. Yes, the Woodward area. Severe thunderstorm was going over that city name. Two other severe thunderstorms down here in the northern portion of Texas. Again, the Texas Panhandle. According to the radar, again, just under 3.5 inch size hail in diameter up in the sky, though right around, I would say again, golf ball size hail making it to the ground near the Plainview area. There's also another cell over here just to the northeast, bringing some pretty decent severe weather near the Turkey area in northern Texas. And again, moving right around to the east by southeast. Let me turn off that. Right around, kind of the same like they were, around 30 to 35 miles per hour. So we got most of the cells that have developed in this region. They'll just continue on throughout the rest of this evening and partially overnight tonight. There's again 21 now severe thunderstorm warnings, and they are extended really all across the eastern half of the United States. Here's two other severe thunderstorm warnings. Northern Iowa, I have you in a high risk for severe weather tonight with my TRA weather prediction. I'll show you all that in just a second. Though right around, let me see where these are. I have a storm report actually near the Humboldt area, and that's the county in Iowa. Large tree was reported down. A bunch of dime-sized hail also occurred with the storm. That looks to be still occurring. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me get over to that. Right around the Dakota City area in Iowa. More severe weather over here to the east. Another severe weather report. Hardin County Emergency Management noted multiple large trees down within the Hardin County area. There's power outages, and the time was estimated by radar, which was a little over a half an hour ago. But right in the south of the Waterloo area, south of the Gilbertville area, under a severe thunderstorm warning. I would not be shocked if they issue a severe thunderstorm warning for this cell right here. It's about as strong as the one just south of Waterloo in northern Iowa. A few other cells are developing. That's going to continue on through the rest of this evening. As I've said before, a few flash flood warnings across portions of southern Indiana and western Kentucky. Now, once we start getting into Arkansas, Mississippi, the storms really start becoming really widespread, not as severe as most of the storms across the plains and northeast are going to see. Though still a decent downpour or two can be expected now across the Alabama area. A few isolated showers. Same goes for portions of northern Georgia. Tennessee also seeing some severe weather. Now, I'm possible that these could become severe later, especially across portions of northern Tennessee. Kentucky could see some of these cells get severe, though none of them thankfully are yet. But you see a lot of little tiny cells developing. This one over here has caused a few flash flood warnings. Two flash flood warnings in effect, as I said before. Western Kentucky and southern Indiana have a report of a flash flood. This was a 911 call center. This is what it was from in Washington County, Indiana. Road closed near intersection of US 160 and Casey Road due to water being over part of the road. We'll take a quick look at this flash flood warning. National Weather Service in Louisville has issued a flash flood warning for north central Clark County and south central Indiana, southwestern Scott County and south central Indiana, and northeastern Washington County and south central Indiana. And that is in effect until 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Another storm report here, also a 911 call center. A tree down on Brownstown Road near the golf course. So multiple storm reports in southern Indiana. Then we zoom out a little bit, as you see some, I would say, lots of blue dots across the central Iowa area. Those are actually all wind reports. And this is from this storm here that has since worked its way further to the south and east. No longer severe, though definitely bringing some pretty decent rainfall. Another flash flood warning for the very western part in Virginia. Also, a lot of wind warnings, or I should say wind reports. Those are Storm Prediction Center reports. And also, all the other severe thunderstorm warnings all up here. And this is also going to be a hot spot for severe weather tonight, all across Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, portions of southern New York State near the New York City area. There's multiple severe thunderstorm warnings here. In fact, a little while ago, we did have a tornado warning. In fact, 2 tornado warnings in the state of Pennsylvania, but they only lasted about 10 to 15 minutes. That's going to be mainly the case throughout tonight. There could be 1 or 2 long track tornadoes, but there is wind shear, but it's not very strong, and it's also rather patchy, so not really seeing much of a tornado threat tonight, thankfully, though a few areas are under torcons of 3 through 4. Now, a few other storm reports. 911 call center. This is in the south central Pennsylvania area, near the Waynesboro area. 911 call center, trees and wires down on Lemur Road, trees and wires down on Marne Road. So lots of reports of trees down and also power poles down. I think that's what that report was there. So main threat tonight is going to be, again, hail and strong straight line winds. Multiple other reports, again, trees down, downed power lines, and more down power lines and trees down. So this severe thunderstorm over here, let me change the radar site for eastern New Jersey. This storm seems to be bringing a lot of chaos over here in this area near the Burnsville area, Leesport area. Let me turn off that so we can see that. The Strusstown area. Let me get to the severe thunderstorm warning. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 7 p.m. Eastern Time for central Berks County. Live in that county, you are under the severe thunderstorm warning. And this storm has a history of producing down power lines as well as trees. So make sure to get safe if you live anywhere in the southeastern Pennsylvania area within those cities that I said. Okay, so now let's take a look at the. Let me go over here. Now let's take a look at the current power outages across portions of the United States. In fact, the entire United States. Let me just get that up over here. There we go. There's a current power outage map. You can see we actually have a large outage event across Pennsylvania and a minor outage event, or I should say a medium outage event, shaded in that orange color across New Jersey. Let's take a look at New Jersey. 76,000 customers without power, and those are not per person. Those are customers. So one customer could mean up to 10 people, or maybe even more than that. So there's roughly right around 150, maybe even 200,000 people without power in the state of New Jersey due to these storms. Burlington County, that has most of the outages, with 37,000 of those being just in that county. Mercer County also has a lot, and Camden County has 28,000 outages, ranking second for the most outages in the state of New Jersey. But Pennsylvania has 150,000 state outages. And again, that's roughly almost 300,000 people without power. And exactly where those storms were in south, central, and southeastern Pennsylvania, that's where most of the power outages are. So we have Bucks County, there's 16,000 outages. Then we have Montgomery County, 59,000 outages. And then Chester County, 32,000 outages. That continues across Berks, where they're under that current severe thunderstorm warning. They might experience a few more outages soon. There's Perry County also, Franklin County, Washington County, Allegheny County, and those are probably going to extend into some portions of southern New York State and more so into New Jersey as those storms make their way eastward throughout the rest of this evening and even overnight tonight. So this is the current National Weather Service hazards map across the entire United States. A lot going on here, actually. We have some flood watches across southern Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida. And the reason why those flash flood watches are in effect for Florida, which you can see down here in this corner, that is because of some tropical moisture being brought in by now tropical depression Cristobal. And that's actually going to eventually make landfall in the U.S. according to pretty much every model, either somewhere across the Florida Panhandle, southern Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, though even eastern Texas isn't totally out of the question. So that's why those flash flood watches, or I should just say flood watches, are in effect for southern Mississippi and Louisiana, because they're expecting possibly half a foot of rain or maybe even more to be dumped by tropical depression Cristobal, but it may become a Category 1 hurricane, though the ocean temperatures are rather warm, or I should say the ocean temperatures are warm, but they're not exactly where they need to be to support hurricanes. And there's also some wind shear affecting the further development of tropical depression Cristobal. So hopefully that limits any further development and the impacts are limited. A lot of red flag warnings, excessive heat warnings across the southwestern United States. There got some really warm temperatures, upper 90s, hundreds, even 100 teens. And then we have the area shaded in pink across Oklahoma, Texas, South Dakota, Montana, and portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Those are all severe thunderstorm watches. In fact, you can see one of those severe thunderstorm watches scrolling at the bottom of the screen, and that will be updated in just a little bit to include portions of northern Texas, more so. Let's take a look at the future radar. This is for the eastern half of the United States. We're going to start at 9 p.m. tonight. And you can see all those severe thunderstorms across the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeastern United States. Though those thunderstorms across portions of the Central Plains may dissipate. So they're going to have some energy to start off with, as we're seeing now, though they may dissipate in the next handful of hours. Though across the Dakotas, Montana, or I should say the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Iowa, you could have some extra storms to deal with overnight tonight. So let's go forward to 1 a.m. tonight. You can see still some storms lingering around, though they are much less numerous and also less severe as they are right now. Though a little later on tonight into early tomorrow morning, this is right around 4 a.m. Eastern time, you can see some storms now starting to pop up across Iowa and Nebraska. Those may get a little stronger. Some of those could definitely become supercells and become severe. Going to have to watch that later on or into the overnight hours and even into Friday morning. That'll continue, though they'll eventually dissipate. Still some lingering showers across portions of the southeast, though nothing too major. Though tomorrow's actually going to be rather quiet. Again, a few isolated showers as expected. It's late spring going into summer now. We're going to be seeing that pretty much almost every day. Though once we start getting to Saturday, that's a different question. We start seeing some more storms across the Dakotas, and even later on Saturday, there could be some very strong to severe storms. We don't want that. Strong to severe storms that develop across Nebraska, North and South Dakota, eastern Wyoming and Montana. Could bring some large hail, strong winds, and also tornado threat isn't out of the equation. So definitely gonna have to keep an eye on that Saturday evening and Saturday night. You can see at the very bottom of your screen here, that is tropical depression, and it's probably going to be very likely tropical storm again, Cristobal, and that'll eventually affect portions of the southeastern United States. I'll be having an update video very soon on that. And we just got a brand new tornado warning. This is in the state of Tennessee. So let me go over to that really quick. Let me switch over this here. There we go. So tornado warning in western Tennessee, very western Tennessee, south of the Union City area, and also right south of the Dryer area, and right around the Trenton area, again in western Tennessee. Let me get the latest on this from the National Weather Service. National Weather Service in Memphis has issued a tornado warning for east central Crockett County in western Tennessee, southern Gibson County in western Tennessee, southwestern Carroll County in western Tennessee, and north central Madison County in western Tennessee until 6 p.m. Central Time. Let's take a look at storm relative velocity. This is what the current velocity is towards and away from the radar. There is a little bit of rotation. You can see that with those bright oranges showing up, and there's a little bit of green. Thankfully, the rotation is very weak, though there is some very light rotation. So, again, if you live in the cities of Dryer, Trenton, Gibson, Humboldt, you're going to have to watch this because you are under a tornado warning. And if you are under this tornado warning or will be under one sometime in the future, you want to make sure to get to the lowest level of your home, put as many walls between you and the possible tornado as possible. And we just got a brand new scan here. The radar scans right around every 2 to 3 minutes, and we just got a brand new one, and it's a little bit more organized with the rotation. So 38 miles per hour in one direction here. We go a little bit to the west, and it's 8 miles per hour, but in the exact opposite direction. So we're going to go to base velocity. This usually doesn't give us the best view of a possible tornado, though again, not too much rotation showing up, but there is definitely some near the Dreyer and Trenton area. So if you live in those areas, make sure to get safe if you haven't already. So let's take a quick look at my TRA weather prediction for tonight. This is across the eastern half of the United States. This is for today and tonight. We have a high risk for much of the eastern half of the United States. Some of that high risk is under northern Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. And then we also have another high risk issued for portions of Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, eastern Colorado, western Kansas, and also western Oklahoma and northern Texas. Outside of that, the medium risk for seeing severe thunderstorms tonight shaded in yellow, and then the low risk for seeing severe thunderstorms tonight, which covers a very large region, and that is shaded in green. Now Philadelphia, you are under that high risk for seeing severe thunderstorms. Nashville and Oklahoma City, you are under the medium risk for seeing severe thunderstorms tonight. Now let's go on over to TRA weather torcons. This is, again, for the eastern half of the United States. You see, torcons aren't very impressive. 1 to 2 torcons for much of that area that was under that high risk for seeing severe thunderstorms across the Ohio Valley and northeast. But we do have a torcon area of 3 through 4. There's slightly more spin and also stronger wind shear across the areas of western Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska. So if you live in those areas, make sure to watch out because an isolated tornado or two is going to be most likely in that region. Okay, so here's the storm hazards. This is for much of the eastern half of the United States and parts of the central United States. Rain, hail, wind, lightning, and CAPE, which stands for convective available potential energy, are all at risk levels 3 out of 5. And just below that is tornadoes, flooding, power outages, and wind shear at risk levels 2 out of 5. And this is expected from now and until Friday, basically overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. So I'm going to keep this live stream up, keep you up to date and informed on all the weather, the severe weather we're going to be experiencing through the rest of this evening and tonight. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to like and share this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also check out the links listed below to both my Twitter and Instagram page, and also an invite link is in the description to my weather Discord channel, and if you would like that posted in chat, I'd be happy to do so. You're watching live severe storm coverage on TRA weather. I'll be back in just a little bit, around 15 to 20 minutes, with a brand new update on the severe storms across the central and eastern United States. Hey everyone, this is weather forecaster Liam back with another update on the severe weather we're experiencing in much of the central and eastern half of the United States. We were monitoring this tornado warning here in west central Tennessee that has now been canceled or expired. You can see they issued this tornado warning roughly about 30 minutes ago, right around the Dyer and Trenton area. So let's switch it over to storm relative velocity to see exactly how this tornado looked. So what we're looking for is bright green and red colors, even orange colors, close together. That is velocity going away and towards the radar relative to the storm's motion, hence storm relative velocity. Forward a few frames, you can see right around 6:40 p.m. Eastern time, right around the Trenton area, there's a little bit of rotation, 4 miles per hour in one direction, but 43 miles per hour in the exact opposite direction. Forward a few more frames, the rotation kind of stuck around, but again was rather weak for any possible tornado. And over the last 3-4 frames, there's practically no rotation whatsoever. So that's good news to hear that that possible tornado is no longer on the ground, causing problems for the Bradford area and Millen area in western Tennessee. But right now we have 16 severe thunderstorm warnings. Thankfully, that's down from the 23 we had earlier. Still have 5 flash flood warnings. I believe that's down 1, 2, and 2 special marine warnings. Let's now go back to the central portion of the United States, where we actually have a report of a tornado in very southwestern Nebraska, right on the border between Nebraska and Kansas. So this is right around the Dundee County, Nebraska area. This was from a 911 call center. Dispatcher received a report of a possible landspout 10 miles west of Binkelman. Landspout was in contact with the ground around 30 seconds. So very, very quick-lived tornado. Just a quick spin up. Expecting a lot of these throughout the evening and night tonight for really anywhere across the United States. Though an area, particularly in South Dakota, portions of Nebraska, and Iowa have a slightly better chance of seeing a tornado, as we saw this quick spin-up tornado here. I was rather shocked we saw one in Tennessee, but as you saw, it was very weak, and it didn't last long if there was even a tornado. Though, occasional tornado or two is possible, but not really looking at a tornado threat tonight. Main threat's going to be large hail and damage in winds, especially with that cell we saw earlier. In fact, going to take a look at that in just a second. But first, we have a few other storm reports. 60-mile-per-hour wind in eastern Colorado, another 60-mile-per-hour wind gust in Yuma County, Colorado. They were both by a trained spotter. And also a storm report in the same county. Emergency management reported zero visibility and car in a ditch reported by the county emergency management. So there's basically no visibility within the Yuma area, also the Yuma City and Yuma County area. And apparently there's a car that has ran into a ditch due to that very heavy rain and low visibility. So let's go back a little bit. You saw at 6:18 p.m. Eastern time that severe thunderstorm warning cell has made its way further eastward, though not quite as strong as it once was, kind of spread out now. That's what these storms are going to do. They're going to pop up, be pretty severe at first, kind of spread out, and then eventually dissipate for most of the area across the plains. Thankfully, no severe thunderstorm warning is associated with this storm, though up here, still dealing with that really powerful cell. In fact, let's go right to that. And surprisingly, this has not lost any intensity. Still very bright blue showing up on the radar here. Have 2 reports of almost 3-inch hail in diameter. So it was right around the radar, at least, was measuring right around 3.5 inches in diameter up in the sky, though obviously it is ice and there is almost 80-degree weather here. So the ice does melt a little, and also it falling from the sky, of course, so it does shrink a little, but man, almost 3-inch size hail in the western, I believe it's western South Dakota area. Yep, northwestern South Dakota area, almost 3-inch size hail in diameter. That will cause some serious damage to especially livestock over here, cars, buildings. Gonna have to really be careful. And the worst part is that this storm is still bringing quite a punch to these areas. Still very strong hail. In fact, this is now reading 4-inch hail in diameter. So there's actually been an increase in intensity with this cell. Okay, Will, is there any tornado threat for Pennsylvania? Yes, there is a very small tornado threat, but the main threat tonight for Pennsylvania will be some strong straight line winds and also some isolated hail. I know some of you guys in Pennsylvania last night actually saw a derecho, which is a very strong line of severe storms that bring very strong winds along with them, and there was, I believe, 80-mile-per-hour winds reported, and sadly 15 people lost their lives yesterday due to that derecho. So thankfully not really seeing any of that tonight, which is good news, though definitely some strong wind and a few isolated storms that could produce some hail for the Pennsylvania area. In fact, let me really quick go over to the TRA weather torcons for tonight. This is for today and tonight. You can see that Pennsylvania, well, at least the central and southern part of Pennsylvania, is under a torcon of 1 through 2. Very low, thankfully. And if you live in the Philadelphia area, that's under also a torcon of 1 through 2. Though the best chance for seeing tornadoes tonight are going to be across western Iowa, much of Nebraska, and South Dakota. That's going to be, again, where the main tornadoes are going to be, and I'm not really even expecting much within that region. So that's good news. Though back to this cell, a little to the north of this 2-inch and 2.5-inch size hail report. This was in Parkins County, South Dakota. A little under 1.5 inch size hail, though man, almost 3-inch size hail. That was by a storm chaser in Meade County, South Dakota. That is definitely some large hail. So this severe thunderstorm warning, obviously the storm is under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for, well, at first, the eastern Meade County severe thunderstorm warning is canceled. You lived in that area, you are no longer under that severe thunderstorm warning because the severe thunderstorm moved out of the area. Though the severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 5:15 p.m. for southwestern Z Beach County. So you live in that county, make sure to get safe. This storm has a history of producing very large and dangerous hail. In fact, just got a new scan and has even intensified more. So make sure to get safe if you haven't already. And Will, no problem. Happy to show you the torcons and what you can expect in Pennsylvania tonight. And if you are new to this channel, make sure to like and share the video, and also subscribe for all weather news and information. I do live streams like this quite frequently, and also do weather forecast videos on a weekly basis, sometimes multiple times a week as well. And we currently don't just have this cell here, also multiple cells. There's one actually to the west of this that has gotten almost to the intensity as this one over here, reporting 3-inch size hail in diameter. A little further up in the sky, though. This is just on the border between western South Dakota and very northeastern Colorado. So this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 6 p.m. for southwestern Butte, southwestern Meade, and central Lawrence and east central Crook counties. Live in those areas, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for your region, and there is possibility of golf ball size hail, or in this case, possibly even tennis ball size hail, as we were seeing over in the Meade County area in South Dakota. This is actually under the same county, just the western portion of that county in South Dakota. So multiple cells scattered all across the central and eastern half of the United States. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in effect across Nebraska and also Kansas. So these are a little more widespread and not quite as intense as the ones are to the north. Further to the south, we were dealing with some pretty decent cells across western Oklahoma and Texas. That is still the case, though they have broadened out a little and aren't quite finely tuned and kind of by themselves. They've kind of turned into almost trying to form a line here across northern Texas and western Oklahoma. Multiple storm reports, though. 80-mile-per-hour wind gust. Man, that storm has really got some strong winds with it. This is in Roger Mills County, Oklahoma. This was via broadcast media, and they also reported lots of tree damage on the south side of town and power lines, or I should say power flashes on the north side of town, which is also probably going to bring some power outages. Another report of 70 miles per hour. This was in Dewey County, Oklahoma. And a few other reports of around 55 to 60 miles per hour, Ellis County, and also Woodward County, Oklahoma. You can kind of see almost the Bowen of this storm, trying to get a pretty good radar sight so we can see that properly. But you can almost see like the Bowen with this individual storm, and you're going to see very strong winds with this, very strong straight line winds, and that's going to be really the main threat tonight. You can kind of see how it bows here. So right here, where that 80 mile per hour wind gust was reported in the Roger Mills area, that's where you're going to experience the strongest wind. So if you live in the Hammond area, Butler area, Elk City area in western Oklahoma, make sure to get safe. You are not only under a severe thunderstorm warning, but 80 mile per hour winds are possible within those areas. And two other severe thunderstorm warnings down here in north central Texas, though not quite at 80 miles per hour, though there's a few reports of 55 miles per hour. That was in Haley, Texas County. Let's go a little further to the east now. We are looking across the plains. Let's go a little further to the east. I believe Iowa had a few severe thunderstorm warnings earlier. That is no longer the case, just a few isolated cells. They have since weakened. Let's continue our way further to the east now to portions of the Midwest and Ohio Valley. A few flash flood warnings across southern Indiana and also western Kentucky. Not really any severe weather, though some pretty decent rain falling within these regions. Now further on to the southeastern United States, across Nashville, well, we did have that one single tornado warning, the very edge here, near the Jackson area in western Tennessee. Thankfully, it was rather weak and didn't last very long. Well, there is a severe thunderstorm warning that did pop up on the southwestern border and northern border in Tennessee and Mississippi. Pretty decent cell here, possibly some pea-sized hail with this, so if you live in these areas, the Sladen area, let me turn off that, the Moscow area, the Kohlerville area, make sure to get safe. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Further to the south now, more so in the Mississippi, mainly the states of like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, they're going to see some isolated pop-up thunderstorms, though they're not going to be really severe. Maybe an isolated severe one or two, like we're seeing in northern Mississippi, though I'm not really expecting any more than that across these regions. Same goes for the Carolinas, though it's a little bit of a different story into the mid-Atlantic and northeastern United States, as, man, we see the radar really flare up across West Virginia, Ohio, where, again, not really severe thunderstorms, though more just moderate to heavy rain. And as we go further to the east, we still see, if I can press that, because we have so many severe thunderstorm warnings, can't even get to the radar sites. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings across northern Virginia, looks to be Maryland, Pennsylvania, all dealing with some severe thunderstorm warnings, though you see, thankfully, no tornado warnings. There's a few thunderstorm reports over here, York County, Pennsylvania, multiple trees and branches down. Been seeing a lot of those reports throughout this evening. Also a flash flood report. This was from a 911 call center. Roads closed in Pine Grove due to flooding. So if you live in the Pine Grove area in Pennsylvania, make sure to get safe because you're experiencing some flash flooding. And still some more severe thunderstorm warnings across the states of Pennsylvania and also Maryland. They'll make their way further eastward as the night goes on, and eventually into portions of New Jersey, New York State, and maybe even Connecticut, though they should weaken by the time they get to those states. And we just got a brand new tornado warning. This is in Tennessee. So let's go and take a look really quick at Tennessee. And this is just where we did have that previous tornado warning that really sort of died out, kind of lost rotation. But it looks to be we have a brand new one right around the same area. And this is in effect until 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is right around the Clarksburg, Huntington, Millen, Atwood areas, Cedar Grove. If you live in those areas, you're under this tornado warning. National Weather Service in Memphis has issued a tornado warning for north central Henderson County in western Tennessee, east central Gibson County in western Tennessee, and southern Carroll County in western Tennessee until 6:45 p.m. Central Time. So let's take a look at storm relative velocity. This is, again, the velocity going away and towards the radar site. We're seeing some very light rotation just east of the Millen area. Let me see if I can get a different radar site here. Let's go to this one in southwestern Tennessee near Memphis. So going towards this, there is a little bit of rotation, though really no more stronger than we saw before. There is some orange showing up here of winds around 40 miles per hour in one direction, but a little further to the north, only 1 mile per hour in the other direction. So very, very light rotation, though it's thankfully not very strong, and let's hope it stays that way. Though you are under a tornado warning if you are under any of these areas until 7:45 p.m. Central, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time and 6:45 p.m. Central Time. So if you live in these areas, make sure to get to your tornado safe place. You're under a tornado warning. All right, so let's take a look at the power outage map across the United States. Let me switch this over here. And we were dealing with a major outage event and a medium outage event in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That is still the case, as Pennsylvania has nearly 150,000 customers without power. That's roughly 300,000 people without power. So let's take a look across Pennsylvania. Thankfully, those outages have gotten slightly less. They have lessened by a few thousand, but those still a lot of outages. And they were where those severe thunderstorms are currently taking place, like Bucks County, Montgomery County, Chester County, Berks County. You all have a lot of outages, and I do believe Montgomery County has the most at 57,000 customers without power, roughly 100 and right around 100 to 125,000 people without power. New Jersey is right behind Pennsylvania again. Let's go to New Jersey. New Jersey is at 72,000 customers without power. I believe that is up since the last time we saw this. Burlington County and Camden County, you all have the majority of the outages at 36,000 and 28,000. So a lot of outages within that region, though thankfully no other outage events across the United States. But we do have a minor outage event in California. I do believe that is not weather related, but I will take a look at that. It's just in one county, around 5,300 customers without power. So I'll take a look at that and see why that is the case. Now let's head over to the National Weather Service hazards map. This is across the entire United States. You see a lot going on here. We have some flood watches in the far southeastern United States. That is because of some tropical moisture from now tropical depression Cristobal that's eventually going to make landfall somewhere across the southeastern United States, whether that be in the Florida Panhandle, the coast of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, or even Texas. Not totally sure on that, though anywhere in the southeastern United States and also south central United States has a potential for a half a foot of rain, maybe even more. So that's why flood watches have been posted there. Because of not just Cristobal coming there, though there is some tropical moisture that will eventually get to those areas well before the storm actually gets there. So that's why those flood watches are out. Then some red flag warnings, excessive heat warnings, and heat advisories across the southwestern United States. They have temperatures between 100 and 115 degrees, so very hot temperatures there. And then some severe thunderstorm watches in pink across South Dakota, Montana, Oklahoma, Texas, and portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. And those are in effect for the next few hours. So let's take a look at the future radar forecast. This is from the NAM model for the eastern half of the United States. You can see, let me go back just a little bit. This is going to be for 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can see those scattered thunderstorms across the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeastern United States, and also some scattered thunderstorms across the plains. Later on tonight, now this is for 1 a.m. tonight going into tomorrow, those storms do weaken and make their way further to the east. So there's another chance later on across the Nebraska, Iowa, southern Minnesota area that we could have some extra thunderstorms develop. Some of those could definitely become severe, so watch that if you live in those areas. Now, later on tonight and into tomorrow morning, scattered thunderstorms here and there, but that's typical late spring, early summer. Later on Friday afternoon actually looks like a pretty good day. Again, for late spring and early summer, just isolated thunderstorms here and there. Though Saturday could be a different scenario. Later on Saturday into Saturday afternoon could have some pretty intense severe thunderstorms that develop across the Dakotas, Nebraska, and maybe even more coverage than that. So stay tuned to TRA Weather for updates on that, as that could be another severe weather threat that could bring large hail damage and winds and more tornadoes than we're going to most likely experience tonight. And down there in the southeast, that is Tropical Storm Cristobal, that is either going to make landfall somewhere in the southeastern United States. Really, no matter where it makes landfall, it's going to bring a lot of rain there. So I'll be having a video on Cristobal coming up within the next day or two. So I'm going to keep an eye on this tornado warning here across western Tennessee. You're watching live severe storm coverage on TRA Weather. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and share this video. Also, subscribe to my channel TRA Weather if you haven't already, and check out the links listed below to both my Twitter and Instagram pages, and also an invite link to my weather Discord channel. I'll be back in just a little bit with new information on this tornado warning and the 21 different severe thunderstorm warnings we have across the United States. You're watching live severe storm coverage on TRA Weather. Hey everyone, this is weather forecaster Liam back again with an update on the severe weather we're experiencing in the central and eastern United States. Been monitoring this tornado warning for quite some time now. The previous warning was set to expire at 6:45 p.m. Central Time. That is 1 minute away, but they have now extended this tornado warning until 7:15 p.m. Central Time. So let's take a look at this brand new tornado warning in western Tennessee. In fact, so let me zoom out real quick. This is where this tornado warning is, and this is really the only tornado warning that we've had during this entire stream, which is good news. Not really seeing much of a tornado threat tonight, mainly a severe thunderstorm threat, as we have 23 severe thunderstorm warnings, quite a bit. Though, let's take a look at this severe thunderstorm warning, and this is for western Tennessee again in the Clarksburg area, the Holiday area, and the Parker Crossroads area. The National Weather Service in Memphis has issued a tornado warning for northeastern Henderson County in western Tennessee, southwestern Benton County in western Tennessee, southeastern Carroll County in western Tennessee, and northwestern Decatur County in western Tennessee until 7:15 p.m. Central Time. Live in those areas that I listed, make sure to get safe. You are under a tornado warning. So now let's go to storm relative velocity. Take a look at the storm, what it looks like, and it's really not too impressive as far as tornado warning signatures go. Now a little further back, you can see this is at 7:26, 6:26 Eastern and Central Time. You can see there's a little bit of rotation here. It's probably as strong as it has been. 17 miles per hour, or I should say 38 miles per hour in one direction, and then 5 miles per hour, but in the exact opposite direction. So velocity in this particular instance, storm relative velocity shows the velocity going away and towards the radar, so we're able to see tight circulations, and this is relative to the storm's motion, hence storm relative velocity. So you're seeing that a little bit right there for a few frames forward, still around. In fact, the most recent frame still has very light rotation. Again, not really very intense rotation. You can barely pinpoint where this possible tornado is. But let's go to correlation coefficient. This actually shows us where the possible debris is. Go back a few frames. In fact, we only have this frame with this particular radar. There possibly a little bit of debris getting flown up in the air. This basically takes all of the objects in the air and shows you how much of it is the same size. So we're looking for the green. That is almost all the same object into the 99.8% range. Once you start getting into the dark blues, oranges, yellows, reds, that's not the same object. So there's let's say in an instance where there is debris, 75%, that's around the red shaded color. That's 75% of the same object. The other 25% is something else. In this case, it would be debris. Now we're only seeing around 94% right now, so that's not a lot. That could be easily just some rain or just some twigs flying around. So not really much in the way of any debris. So let's go back to base reflectivity, normal radar. Nonetheless, it is a tornado warning. Some light rotation has been with it for quite a while now. So if you live in those areas, make sure to get to your tornado safe place. Though back to the severe thunderstorm warnings, we have an incredible 18 severe thunderstorm warnings. Been dealing with those all day. Let's start off in the north central United States in the northern plains. Severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern South Dakota. You can see that right there over here, really close to the radar site. Actually have a storm reported 50 miles per hour. National Weather Service employee reported this in Brown County, South Dakota. 0 mile visibility and heavy rain. So thankfully, no hail is being reported with this, and also no tornadoes. Not really seeing too many of those tonight, besides that one in Tennessee and 2 others in Pennsylvania earlier. So now going to the western half of South Dakota, and man, if you're just tuning in, we were dealing with some insanely strong cells over here in western South Dakota. There were some very bright blues on the radar, which you're still seeing. Let me put both of those into view. Still seeing those, and in fact, that one that just developed towards the western side of South Dakota and very eastern Colorado has in fact strengthened and looks to have dropped 2.5 inch hail in diameter. This was in Lawrence County, South Dakota, and this was reported via Storm Chaser. Another report of 2 inch size hail, same county, and the hail lasted 5 minutes. Imagine getting pelted with 2 inch size hail for 5 straight minutes. That is not good. That's when you start getting damage to the houses, cars. Also, not good for livestock, as we are in South Dakota, lots of farmland. And another report of 2 inch size hail, and again in Lawrence County, and the source was public. So looking at this looks to be a supercell here. Got some very intense rain and obviously some hail. Thankfully, it looks like it has maybe weakened just a little bit since that previous 2.5 inch size hail has fallen. Though still definitely blue showing up, as you can see here, which is still probably some golf ball size hail with this. So if you live in the western South Dakota region near the Strugus area, make sure to get safe. There's a very severe thunderstorm warning for your area. And this is in effect for south central Butte County and southwestern Meade County, and also south just central Lawrence counties until 6 p.m. Mountain Time. A little further to the east, where that original really strong thunderstorm was around, which dropped over 2.5 inch size hail in diameter. In fact, we just got a report not too long ago in Meade County, and over 3 inch size hail in diameter. That is definitely going to cause some damage if you live in that region where that hail fell. And you can see just how bright it was previously. In fact, let's go back a frame. You can see up here when it was dropping that 2.5 inch size hail in diameter, a little forward, still some bright blue showing up, indication of 4 inch size hail in diameter up in the sky. To report again over 3 inch size hail. And the latest scan, thankfully, is a little weaker than it was previously, thankfully, but still blue showing up, which indicate golf ball size hail. So you live in this area in western South Dakota. Let's see if we can have any cities that pop up here. The Kirkley area, and also the county. Let me go over here. Let me see if we have a county listed here. The severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 6:15 p.m. Mountain Time for northeastern Haakon County. Live in that county or that city, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Get safe, and this is moving southeast. Eventually get near the Murdu area, northeast of the Midland area. Definitely watch that storm, as it has the capability of producing very large hail and has produced very large hail. Now further to the south in Nebraska and also portions of Kansas and eastern Colorado, we have some more severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Some 60 mile per hour wind reports over here. Let me get over to that. 60 mile per hour wind reported in Cherry County, Nebraska. 4 to 6 inch diameter branches down also. Another report of 60 mile per hour wind in the same county. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. These storms are moving east. Let me get to that. Storms moving east by southeast at about 40 miles per hour. So if you live in this area in northern Nebraska, make sure to get safe. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Same goes for these areas down here. Let me go to a different radar site so we have a better view. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings for southwestern Nebraska and northwestern Kansas. Multiple reports of 60 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Sherman County, Cheyenne County, and also Rawlins County. Reduced visibility to 20 to 30 feet due to blowing dust. Winds estimated 50 to 60 miles per hour. And believe it or not, we had even stronger wind reports down here of 80 miles per hour. There was a very strong line of storms. You can still see the bow with it. That is an indication of some very strong straight line winds, where we had a report of 80 miles per hour and also a report of 70 miles per hour. Now we're looking at this, just mainly reports now of around 50 miles per hour near the Buckingham County, Oklahoma, Custer County, Oklahoma. Around 50 to 65 mile per hour winds, and looks to be maybe some pea-sized hail with that as well. Did have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for north central Texas. We're down to just one severe thunderstorm warning, but man, it is a decent cell. Definitely bright blue showing up on the radar here, indication from the radar I have, is over 3-inch size hail in diameter, so possibly golf ball size hail with this. And this is again in north central Texas area near the Petersburg, Cone area, Rails area, Lorenzo area. Live in those regions, make sure to get safe. And also, National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Lubbock County in northwestern Texas, southwestern Floyd County in northwestern Texas, northern Crosby County in northwestern Texas, and southeastern Hale County in northwestern Texas until 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Definitely get safe. That is a very strong and severe thunderstorm. Not just the plains area, also portions of the eastern United States is experiencing some severe weather. Did have some of that in Iowa earlier, though that has since dissipated. Still dealing with that tornado warning in western Tennessee. Definitely monitoring that. And also the severe thunderstorm warning in northern Mississippi. Still ongoing, though across the rest of the state of Mississippi, also Alabama, northern Florida, and the entire state of Georgia. Just dealing with some isolated thunderstorms here and there, nothing too severe. Do have a line of severe thunderstorms, or not really at the severe level yet, just a line trying to develop in, seems to be northeastern Georgia. That does extend a little bit into very western North and South Carolina, though again, just little pop-up showers, very isolated, though they become much less isolated further north you get. Yeah, look at this, a lot of rain. Flash flood warnings also in effect for portions of western Kentucky and south central Indiana, where the rain becomes less severe, though more moderate to heavy, where we have a flash flood threat to worry about in some areas. Severe thunderstorm warning in West Virginia, near the Madison area. And most of the severe thunderstorm warnings, in fact, we currently have 24 severe thunderstorm warnings. They're all pretty much in the mid-Atlantic northeastern region, across Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, and now approaching the Washington, D.C. area, where we have multiple reports of storm damage. Here's one. Numerous trees down on power lines. This is in this region right here, just east of the Front Royale area. Trees down, power lines down near Pickett Street. A small fire has resulted from the downed power lines. So there's actually a fire in the Plains area in very northern Virginia because of those down power lines. And sometimes even when those power lines, in fact, the majority of the time when those power lines are knocked down, they are still active. So if you ever see power lines down, definitely stay away from them, because there's a good chance that they are still live and active. Just because you're without power at your house doesn't totally mean that those lines are not conducting some electricity. Further to the north, still some more storm reports. A lot of them have been downed trees and also downed power lines, as we have, you see these blue specks here. Those are all Storm Prediction Center storm wind reports because of some wind damage. Still the same case the further east we go in Pennsylvania, almost 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. And they'll eventually work their way on over to portions of New Jersey, as you're seeing right now, and also maybe the southern portion of New York and near the New York State area. For some reason, this radar is not loading. That's quite interesting. That's a New York City radar. Have to see what's wrong with that. So yeah, that's the majority of the severe thunderstorm warnings right now. I have 26 of those now. That number just keeps increasing. So I'm going to obviously keep an eye on this tornado warning, stay focused on this tornado warning. But that is all the severe thunderstorm warnings we have for now. Let's take a look at the current power outage map across the United States, where we were dealing with definitely some outage events across much of the state of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Let me just pull that up here. Let me also reload the page. We were dealing with over 140,000 outages in Pennsylvania, 72,000 outages in New Jersey, and now we have some outages reported in Virginia. That's at 11,000 customers. And those are customers, not exactly people. Those are just like per household, per business. So that could easily be 30,000 people without power in the state of Virginia. So let's take a look at that. This is the newest state to start to lose power. Northern portion of the state, Rockbridge reporting some power outages. Orange County reporting some power outages, though Loudoun County reported most of those outages. Let's go back to Pennsylvania. They have been slowly getting they've been slowly getting the power back, though it has definitely been slow. They were at 150,000 outages. Now they're only at 142,000 outages. There is progress, but it is rather slow. In the counties that have the most outages is Montgomery County, with over 55,000 customers without power. Chester County, 34,000, and Bucks County at 12,000. And then right behind Pennsylvania is New Jersey with 72,000 customers without power. That is majorly in two counties, Burlington County, 37,000 outages, and Camden County with roughly 30,000 customers. So have, I would say, roughly almost 500,000 people without power in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast because of the severe weather we're experiencing tonight across the United States. So now let's take a look at the National Weather Service hazards map. Let's get a fresh update here. There's a lot going on, you see. We have a lot going on across the United States. So let's start on the southwestern United States. All those colors there are all red flag warnings due to high fire conditions, low humidity, dew points, and some very hot temperatures, as we have excessive heat warnings and heat advisories, with temperatures in the upper 90s and 100 teens across portions of the southwest. And yeah, they've been dealing with that heat for quite some time now. Further to the east now, you're seeing those pink colors showing up across like Oklahoma, Texas, South Dakota, Montana, and portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Those are all severe thunderstorm watches. In fact, the latest watch has been scrolling at the bottom of the TRA Weather live stream. That is the latest watch. I'll update that if we get a brand new watch or an extended one. And all those orange colors are also severe thunderstorm warnings. So let's go to the future radar forecast. This is from the NAM model, the latest run of the NAM model. So we're going to go forward a little. Let me fix this here. So we're going to go forward a little to around 10 p.m. tonight. You see those scattered storms still around the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic and a little bit in the northeastern United States. They will eventually dissipate, though it's going to be very slow, as you're already starting to see now. And also a few isolated thunderstorms still lingering around across various portions of the plains and also Midwestern United States. Though later tonight going into tomorrow morning, we could see an uptick in some severe weather across eastern Nebraska, Iowa, and southern Minnesota. So make sure to watch the weather overnight tonight. If you live in those areas, you could be woken up by a severe thunderstorm warning, but hopefully not a tornado warning for your area. Rest of the night and into Friday morning, really going to be a low-key day weather-wise. We will have some pop-up thunderstorms later on in the afternoon, as you're seeing now. This is right around 6 p.m. Eastern time across the southeastern United States. Though other than that, remains a quiet day. Though Saturday is a different story. We could have some enhanced severe weather potential across portions of the upper plains and Midwest, where some strong hail, or I should say strong winds, large hail, and tornadoes are all possible. I'll be monitoring that possible severe weather outbreak in that region. And then you can see at the very bottom of your screen, that is Tropical Storm Cristobal. And I'm going to also be having an updated forecast on him and his potential impacts on the United States, looking at possibly half a foot of rain across portions of the southeast, especially along the coast. So definitely watch that if you do live on the coast in the southeastern United States along the Gulf of Mexico. So that tornado warning in Tennessee has just been upgraded to a tornado warning report. So what does that mean? That means that there has been a reported active tornado within the western Tennessee region. So this tornado warning you're seeing right now, this seems to be an active tornado on the ground right now. So let's see who reported this. So the fire department within this region confirmed the tornado. So it wasn't storm chasers or the emergency management, it was the fire department that has confirmed an active tornado on the ground right now in western Tennessee. This is a damaging tornado. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. So definitely take this seriously. At 6:59 p.m. Central Time, a confirmed tornado was located near Wildersville or near Natchez Trace State Park, moving east at 30 miles per hour, and this remains in effect until 7 p.m. Central Time for northeastern Henderson, southwestern Benton, southeastern Carroll, and northwestern Decatur counties. Let's go over to storm relative velocity, take a look at the velocity going away and towards the radar site, and it's still rather weak, though you can definitely see a little bit of rotation. In fact, we have some enhanced rotation here. You can see there 52 miles per hour and 41 miles per hour, but in the exact opposite direction, right around the Clarksburg area. So there is definitely a little rotation showing up now. You can see that just on the radar, those bright colors showing up. This is not the best radar to view this on. We're actually on the Paducah radar site. Let's go to the Memphis radar site. May have a better view of this. So let's zoom in here. Yep, right around that same area where that possible tornado is. You can see it's much more defined one frame ago near the Clarksburg area. Thankfully, it looks to have weakened a little, though definitely still see a little bit of rotation again near the Clarksburg area in western Tennessee. So, reported by the fire department within this region, an active tornado on the ground in western Tennessee. Going to keep the radar up on this tornado warning. If you know anyone within the western Tennessee region near the Clarksburg area, make sure to let them know that there is a tornado warning for the region. Or if you are in that tornado warning or around that tornado warning, make sure to get safe. The lowest level of your home and the most interior level of your home, basically to put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. Going to keep the radar up on this. You're watching live severe storm coverage on TRA Weather. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and share this video and subscribe for all the latest weather news and information. I'll be right back in a few minutes with brand new information on this tornado warning report. Hey everyone, this is weather forecaster Liam here with the final update tonight on this severe weather that is impacting the central and eastern half of the United States. Been watching this tornado warning report for quite a while now, almost the entire stream, and has been recently upgraded to a tornado warning report. The fire department within the Clarksburg area, also near the Huntington area in western Tennessee, has reported an active tornado on the ground within the Clarksburg area and also the Holiday area. This just got extended a few minutes ago, and this is in effect until 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So the National Weather Service in Memphis has issued a tornado warning for northeastern Henderson County in western Tennessee, southern Benton County in western Tennessee, southeastern Carroll County in western Tennessee, and northeastern Decatur County in western Tennessee until 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So switching over to storm relative velocity, thankfully not really seeing much of any rotation with this storm at all, though it has been reported by, again, the fire department. I'm switching radar sites really quick here to see if we have any sort of rotation within the storm. So now it's the storm relative velocity. You can kind of see it's hard to pinpoint out, but there is a little bit of rotation here just east of the Clarksburg and west of the Holiday area in western Tennessee. So if you live in those areas or those counties I listed, make sure to get safe as you are under a tornado warning right now. And I just went to a tower radar site. So let me switch that. Let's go over to the Memphis radar site so we get a better view. So very, very light rotation. Hopefully this would be totally gone by now, because there was a little bit before. It was just kind of lingering around, and now it's almost all but gone. So live in those areas, make sure to get safe. You're still under a tornado warning, and let me make sure that this is still being reported by the fire department. Source: emergency management now confirmed the tornado, because before it was the fire department, now it is the emergency management. So this is still rather recent, so there may be a tornado on the ground just on the very edge of the storm. So make sure to get safe if you haven't already, if you are within this tornado warning. Again, this is in western Tennessee. Here's a wider view of it. There's Mississippi, Alabama down here, Arkansas, Missouri, and there's Tennessee. And this is Nashville. I actually had the Nashville weather cam up for quite a little bit in the upper right portion of the screen. Saw some pretty decent thunderstorms in the background. That is most likely these storms right here. They may eventually impact the Nashville area, though I'm not totally sure if they're going to be very strong by the time they get there. They might rain themselves out. Though 23 severe thunderstorm warnings right now, 1 tornado warning, 4 flash flood warnings, and 2 special marine warnings. Now let's start off in the central United States. Going to look over all these storms one last time. Starting off in South Dakota. In fact, let's start off really quick in North Dakota. Just been dealing with some light to moderate rain at times. As you see now, more lighter than moderate rain now across much of the North Dakota region. Though as we start getting into the South Dakota region, that's a much different story. Been dealing with some very large, severe thunderstorms. In fact, we have one up here near the Groton area, the Pier Point area. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. National Weather Service employee in Brown County, South Dakota. Pea-sized hail also reported. Another wind report of 71 miles per hour. This was also in Brown County, South Dakota. And also other report of 50 miles per hour. So now heading over to the central and western portions of South Dakota, where we were dealing with a very intense severe thunderstorm that was producing over 3.5 inch, or I should say over 3-inch size hail in diameter. That was not up in the sky, that was falling. That's how large the hail was. You can just see how intense this thunderstorm was at one point. Here was that report of over 3-inch size hail in diameter in Meade County, South Dakota, and this was via Storm Chaser. It was very bright blue showing up, according to the radar, 4-inch size hail in diameter up in the sky. Thankfully, that has since weakened, though, according to the radar, still right around 2-inch size hail in diameter up in the sky in the center of this storm being reported, so possibly pea-size hail within this severe thunderstorm. Though severe thunderstorm warning is obviously with the storm for Jones County in central South Dakota and southwestern Stanley County in central South Dakota until 8 p.m. Central Time and 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So let's go a little further to the west, where we now have 2 severe thunderstorms, all under one giant severe thunderstorm warning. According to the radar, 3-inch size hail in diameter is being reported again by the radar with this one cell. Have a report of over 2.5-inch size hail in diameter. We've seen some pretty decent hail in South Dakota tonight. This was also in Meade County, South Dakota. This was via a National Weather Service employee. This storm has a history of producing very large hail, as you see in Lawrence County, via storm chasers and also public reports of very large hail. Here's another wind gust of 62 miles per hour as well in Lawrence County, South Dakota. Another severe thunderstorm in the very northeastern portion of Colorado, but that's really the only one in the Wyoming, Colorado, Montana region. Start seeing some more severe weather activity in Nebraska, where you see over here have some severe thunderstorm warnings near the Brewster area. Reports of 60-mile-per-hour winds, 4 to 6-inch diameter branches down as well. That's some pretty big branches. That's mainly been what we've been seeing tonight. Down branches, also down power lines, and occasional very large hail. Another storm report, emergency management reported a semi rollover caused by wind. The semi was empty at time of rollover. Well, that's good news. Lincoln County, Nebraska. Another severe thunderstorm warning near the Lexington and Elwood area in Nebraska. Now we're over on into Kansas. Let's go over to the radar site in Kansas. So reports are over the radar site for me to get over here. So now looking over on into Kansas, you can see there's that severe weather in northwestern Kansas with severe thunderstorm warning. Reports of 50-mile-per-hour winds, 100-yard visibility due to blowing dust. Having a lot of reports in Kansas due to blowing dust with these severe thunderstorms. A few other isolated cells, though none of them are severe warned right now. Though once you start getting to northern Texas and western Oklahoma, that's when things start getting severe, and also some very strong winds being reported. We actually had a wind report earlier of 80 miles per hour. Yes, we had a report, a wind gust of 80 miles per hour with this line of storms here. You can see there's Oklahoma City right there, and this will eventually impact Oklahoma City, whether it be just the northern portion of this line of storms. It's still going to impact the city, and most likely going to bring 50 mile per hour plus wind gusts with this line of storms to Oklahoma City. Here's a report of 70-mile-per-hour wind gust, Custer County, Oklahoma. This was via Train Spotter. Washita County, Oklahoma, 60 miles per hour. Another report of 60 miles per hour in Dewey County. Just very strong winds reported with this line. Not so much hail, mainly wind. Now over on into portions of northern Texas, where we've also been seeing some severe weather. And man, we just have only one severe warned storm right now, but is it definitely a severe warned storm where we have very, very bright blue showing up on the radar here, and it's very close to the radar site, so we have very detailed image. It's not right over it, it's just the right amount close and away from it, so we have a very good view. Let me turn off some of this. This is near the Rails area, the Cross Byton area, Lorenzo area. You're most likely experiencing golf ball to maybe even tennis ball size hail with those very light blues showing up in readings of 71 dBZs, which very, very strong severe thunderstorm we have here. And let's see the counties listed in the severe thunderstorm warning. We only have one, and that is southwestern Crosby County in northwestern Texas, and that is in effect until 8:15 p.m. Central Time. Live in those areas, or eventually the areas that come by the severe thunderstorm, maybe the Owens area, Cape Rock area, the Canvin Valley, maybe even the Post area within an hour or so. Definitely keep an eye on that severe thunderstorm as it has the capability of producing very large and damaging hail. Now, once we start getting into portions of like Missouri, Arkansas, not really seeing much severe weather here, though once we start getting into the southeastern states like Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, we start seeing some more severe weather popping up. And back to this tornado warning here in west central Tennessee, where it's still under that tornado warning report. And in fact, over to storm relative velocity, still showing some winds on the northwestern side of this storm, though not really much of a rotation. Oh, here's a tornado report. This was in Carroll County, Tennessee. This was the fire department /rescue. So the info on this is a tornado touched down on Leech Road and traveled southeast, crossing Purdy and Poplar Springs Road near the Thousand Lakes community. The tornado continued southeast towards Yuma and Westport Road. So we have a report near the Clarksburg area of a tornado that was on the ground, and from the most recent report is still on the ground and traveling. So last report on this tornado, you live in these areas near the Holiday area or eventually in the Lobelville, the Linden area, you're under this tornado warning or may soon be under it. So get to the most interior and lowest level of your home to put as many walls between you and the possible tornado as you can. Now, this is the only warning we have in the southeastern United States. We did have one in northern Mississippi, though that has since expired. Now, over on into portions of Alabama, dealing with some very scattered, I wouldn't really even call them thunderstorms here, maybe a few lightning strikes in this region, though nothing really too severe. Start getting into the northern Georgia area. We do have a really light line of severe weather near the Gainesville and Dahlonega area, though other than that, none of that is severe warned at this time. We're now getting into portions of the mid-Atlantic and Ohio Valley, start seeing some severe weather popping up, some scattered thunderstorms, but it really starts getting active when we start getting into West Virginia and also portions of Ohio. We're not really severe weather, though just some very moderate to heavy rain. Some flash flooding was reported within these regions. And where most of the severe weather is being reported, this is in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, and now eventually going to be into portions of New Jersey. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings currently right now. This is in southeastern Pennsylvania, near the Lancaster area, and also just east of Washington, D.C. In fact, the eastern portion of Washington, D.C. is under this severe thunderstorm warning. And that is also followed by a special marine warning, both to the west and east of that severe thunderstorm warning. So, what these storms are going to do through the rest of the night tonight, let's take a look at that. So let's go to the future radar forecast. This is going to be from the NAM model. Let me just take this up over here. And there we go. This is the future radar forecast, again, according to the NAM model. Let me take it back a little bit. And this is the latest run, so this is the very latest information. Let's go forward to about 10 p.m. tonight. You see those storms across the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and northeastern United States. They do start to weaken a little, start to dissipate, as well as the ones across the plains, though there's a chance later on tonight into early tomorrow morning we could have an uptick in severe weather, maybe across the northern portions of Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi in the southeast, though I'm more concerned about the areas in Iowa, southern Minnesota, and eastern Nebraska, where they could have a few supercells develop, and those could definitely bring some large hail and damaging winds and maybe an isolated tornado. So watch out if you live in those regions. Though now later on to tomorrow, this is for 2 p.m. Eastern time, rather quiet for a late spring, almost early summertime. Really going to see some sort of thunderstorms developing across the eastern half of the United States during this time of the year, though it's going to remain rather quiet tomorrow. Possibility, of course, of a few scattered thunderstorms across the southeast, though nothing major. Later on into the day, Friday, now overnight into Saturday, we could actually be dealing with another severe weather event, this time in the northern plains across Nebraska, the Dakotas, Montana, and Wyoming. And those could definitely be severe with strong wind, large hail, and also possibly a tornado threat. So I'll keep you updated on that possible severe weather outbreak. And you also see in the very the very bottom of the screen, that is Tropical Storm Cristobal. And it's very, very, very likely that it's going to make landfall somewhere in the southeastern United States and bring possibly over half a foot of rain to either portions of Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, or Texas. Exactly where and what locations are going to get the most amount of rain, still working that out, though that will be in my next weather video coming up within the next day or so, and that will be on Tropical Storm Cristobal and its impacts on the United States, so make sure to watch that. So one last look at the National Weather Service hazards map. A lot going on here. Severe weather warnings, severe thunderstorm watches in effect, in those pink shaded areas across Oklahoma, Texas, South Dakota, Montana, and also portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Though in the Southwest, those are red flag warnings and excessive heat warnings because locations in that region in the southwestern United States are dealing with upper 90s and hundreds, even some cases in 100 teens. So very warm in those regions, and they've been dealing with that for quite a while. So definitely listen to those excessive heat warnings. Make sure to take frequent breaks, drink plenty of water, and get into air-conditioned buildings. And also a few flash flood watches, or I should just say flood watches, across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida because of that tropical storm named Cristobal. And now look at the power outage map. We were dealing with some pretty major outages across Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Also recently added was Virginia. Now we have Oklahoma at 10,000 outages, and that is because of that very strong line of severe thunderstorms that had brought very strong winds. You saw that 80-mile-per-hour wind report right around this area. The Roger Mills, the Dewey County, Custer County, the Beckham County, Garfield County, all experiencing power outages because of the severe weather we're experiencing tonight. Though still Pennsylvania, New Jersey, still dealing with the major amount of outages. Thankfully, they have gotten slightly better, though still dealing with 37,000 outages in Burlington County and also 25,000 outages in Camden County. And now one last look at Pennsylvania, which was at originally 150,000 outages, now just at 130. So that's good news. Though Montgomery County, 47,000 customers without power, in Chester County with 33,000 customers without power. So for the rest of tonight, you can experience some severe weather. This is a TRA weather prediction. Those areas shaded in red are under a high risk for seeing severe thunderstorms. Areas shaded in yellow are under a medium risk for seeing severe thunderstorms. And then the areas shaded in green are under a low risk for seeing severe thunderstorms. Now over to our TRA weather torcons, which have a chance for seeing tornadoes later tonight. If I can, I'll get that up in just 1 second. There we go. There are the torcons. See, there aren't very high chances for seeing tornadoes. Occasional tornado, isolated 1 or 2, with mainly torcons of 1 through 2. But right around the western Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska area could see a slight increase in tornadoes as we go on to the rest of this evening and overnight tonight. So this concludes live severe storm coverage on TRA weather. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel TRA weather. And also check out the links listed below to both my Twitter and Instagram pages, and also an invite link to my weather Discord channel. For everyone in the path of these severe storms tonight, and also in the path of this tornado warned storm tonight, be safe. Thanks for watching live severe storm coverage on TRA weather.